Hello, hello, and welcome to another edition of Quoth Raven, Little Sprite Raven. I'm your host, Little Sprite Raven. It's been a long day for me. Been a very bad mood. That's the best way I can just put it. And if you can not tell, the Midnight Monster's in my lap trying to calm me down today. Joined with me tonight is the host of the evening, Fat Man Who Laughs, Chris Hall.
Hello, hello, hello.
So, why am I so ticked off at the world today? Why am I in the mode that I'm in? What mode am I in?
Well, we're gonna say cantankerous.
Cantankerous, maybe. I think if I can just share the screen, I'm in this mode.
You drew first blood, man. You drew first blood.
Yes. Yeah. But this is what I'm in. With apologies and appreciations to the great John Mayer Jr. for the body, the head and the coloring, and the head and the shirt are mine. The coloring is Chris.
But I thought this was quite a humorous piece.
Yeah, well, I wish it were, but I don't know. It's me poking fun at myself, yes, but I don't know. Anyway, we've gotten a lot of mail recently since I got sick and was in the hospital, and it's been some of the rudest, most aggravating crap I've ever seen. I'm not going to read all the emails in their entirety. I'm just going to short and sweet to the point of what pissed me off and address them. So let's go ahead and get into that. Anonymous asks, how come you never promote Indiegogo campaigns on your show? I see you mainly promote Kickstarters. Are you against Indiegogo because of who is over there or something? I realize that I don't do as much Indiegogo as I do Kickstarter or even some of the other channels. The reason I don't is because a lot of the Indiegogo stuff is in demand. And some of these books are as far as 4 years after the campaign was concluded and they haven't fulfilled their campaigns, or they haven't updated their campaigns to say that they've been fulfilled and they've sold the books out. Why the hell are you in demand? Close your damn campaign down. I'm not going to promote something that's 4 years old.
Right, exactly.
And the people that are my friends who keep their Indiegogo campaigns up to date, I reach out to them. I bring them on the show. I've done that plenty of times. I've done it with the Presti. I've done it with Graham Nolan. I've offered it to Irene Shashowski, who does Fiendish. She didn't want to come on the show, or actually she just never responded. But that's another issue altogether. I get a lot of non-responses from people from Indiegogo as well. So it's not that I have anything against Indiegogo, or it's not because of Comicsgate or any other bullshit like that. It's just the people on Kickstarter seem to be more responsive and more interactive to want to be on the show and want me to promote their stuff on the show.
Yeah, and on top of that, Kickstarters are easy. Kickstarters are better for promoting because they have a definitive amount of time that they're going to run. We can go on there. We can be like, hey, you got like 10 days left. Get in here. This is great stuff. Buy this. Whereas Indiegogos, yes, they can have a definitive amount of time, but a lot of times, more often than not, they have that variable goal. It can go on for however long.
Well, they go into in demand after the campaign's over. and you can still order until they decide to put the book out. Well, when the fuck are you putting the book out?
Right.
And that's, I've waited in some cases for like 3.5 years. I still haven't received the book, and I don't think I ever will. I just lost my money on those bets, is what I look at, So, unless it's somebody I know I can rely on, like an Aaron McCresty or a Graham Nolan, I'm not as prone to promote them because of that reason.
Right.
Whereas, like you say, with Kickstarter, people tend to be seemingly more interested in delivering.
Right. Yeah, because they have that definitive amount of time that they're going to run. And that being said, we do promote, at least since I've been doing this show, we do promote a fair amount of Indiegogo's campaigns. Yeah. If we like the books, hey, we do it.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just Indiegogo. We're at Zoop. We're at, other channels as well. I don't know what the comment was about. I don't understand the question. Did you understand why I was being asked that question?
I don't know. It seems like whoever the question was from, just like maybe they haven't, seen all the shows and weren't aware that we do, in fact, promote Indiegogo and other crowdfunding platforms as well. So,
yeah. All right. Our next one. Why don't you promote insert crowdfunding campaign here on your channel? Multiple parties ask me this. It doesn't really matter what campaign it is. There are many times the book just doesn't happen to appeal to me or Chris or John, and it's not something we want to promote. Other times I've reached out and offered to promote. They've told me, no, I don't want you promoting it on the show. Okay, if you don't want me to promote you, I'm not going to promote you. If I ask someone if they'd like to be a guest on the show and they tell me, not only do they not want to be a guest, but don't really talk about my book on the show. Okay, if that's how you feel. I respect that. But then I don't need to have fans tell me, you need to promote that book.
Right. And certain types of books we're just not going to promote on the channel. We're not going to promote Sasha's sensual saddlebag soiree. It's just not going to happen.
Correct. No matter how risque Campidi gets sometimes, and even well, let's face it, as much as Campidi is a friend of ours, and we're going to get to Campidi in just a little bit. There are books I'm not particularly keen on and have not promoted and probably won't promote.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. So there you go. All right. Our next question is the only real question. I thought that was a reasonable question this week. How much money do you spend per year on crowdfunding comics versus direct market or regularly distributed comics and or graphic novels? This is from our old friend Miguel Acer. I can't speak as to 2025. I haven't done a forensic, financial forensics to look at stuff. It's going to be changing real fast because of what's recently happened financially for me. But over the last 2 years, what it's been like is between 35 to 45,000 for crowdfunding books versus about 5,000 to 8,000 a year for regular distribution, which means about an 80 to 20 ratio percent.
Right. But still, that is a stunning amount of money to be spending on comics to review.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not just comics to review. I try to enjoy what I'm reading.
Well, yes. Just to buy in a year, though, that's a stunning amount of comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, we're talking about $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that there's so much stuff I read that I don't review on the show simply because I don't have time to review all of it.
Right.
And then I get asked, why don't you review blah, blah, blah. It's like, You know, it's like, what am I supposed to do? 24/7 review channel or something?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me review until I fall asleep.
Right. sorry, pops. No dinner today. Gotta review comics.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's insane. But that's about the ratio. What about you, Chris? What are you spending?
On comics a year?
Yeah.
Oh, not nearly that much, but I would say probably a couple grand a year.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, keep in mind, you know, Chris does a lot of other types of things outside of comics too that I don't. He's a gamer. I'm not so much anymore. Both video and role playing. I don't invest in those things at all anymore. Like I mean, I could be a gamer as far as tabletop role playing, I guess, if I really wanted to. But the way people are, I don't want to.
And let's be brutally honest. I'm a professional comic book colorist, and with the state of the industry these days, I can barely afford to buy comics.
Mhm. Yeah. There's that too. So, okay, there we go. Which kind of gets us back to our next point. Next question from Comics by Perch Fan, also known as CBP Fan. That was the nickname I gave him. How many comics do you guys review that you only read online, as in you don't pay for them because you swiped it off the net? I'll let you address that, Chris, since a lot of the stuff that you read, you get online.
Okay. I'm going to say that the amount of comics that I buy and the contributions that I make to the comic industry in the amount of cheap, reduced, or free work, I would say far outweighs the number of comics that I'm like, oh shoot, don't have any money. We got to review this, so I'm just going to see if I can find it here today. That's basically what it comes down to.
Okay, well, let me see if I can answer that a little bit more. I realize you're a perch goon, CBP, but what the duck? That was a low blow teep shot. The answer is less than 5% of what we review is what we read online only. Yes, as Chris says, he may read his stuff online because he doesn't have access to buy physical product on schedule, or because he's working on a freaking comic page for $25 a page instead of the $125 he deserves, and he can't, make ends meet, so he borrows something off of the internet. But 80% of the time of the stuff that we get PDFs for, it's from the publisher free to us to review. Right. So we're not swiping it. 15% of the time, we're getting a physical copy of the book later on, likely in trades. It's only the stuff that we reviewed and didn't finish the series or we didn't like that we generally don't otherwise support. And that's maybe 5% of what we review.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Chris or John send me links for that stuff to share art files on, so that I'm not spending hours and hours scanning the damn books to make reviews, or because I sometimes use sampler arts from another review site to save time, nothing more, doesn't mean we aren't investing money into the product to talk about. And so after that comment, CBP, I have no time for you. Don't ever fucking email me again. You are welcome to leave.
Yes, you don't have to watch the show.
Why do you hate other comics YouTubers like Thinking Critical Perch and alike? Jealous that they're more successful than you. Multiple parties. This was also part of CBP's bullshit, but there was a couple of others as well. Let's address that next. Are you stupid or something? I'm not jealous of their so-called success. What I am is fed up with the lack of respect from their audiences for those of us who have actually worked in this goddamn business as legitimate publishers and creators who have each of us been around for 30 to 50 years, who have channels of our own that are being completely ignored as we deliver the content that they claim they miss and that nobody is producing. What I am is sickened by these jack-off jabronis who attack my peers in this business for being women, for being black, for being queer, for whichever subgroup of persons you don't like this week that has absolutely nothing to do with their work, declaring how they don't belong or deserve to be in this industry. And then they want to charge you, the audience, money to listen to them tell you how they would fix the industry. Did it never occur to you people that the reason these people aren't being hired to do anything themselves is because they aren't worth shit and their opinions have even less merit? Well, I don't see you working. I work all the effing time. A lot of the work I do is stuff that isn't celebrated in the fandom. You don't fucking care that I'm proofing books or doing research information, checking on stories to make sure a writer has their science or history factually correct. There's no credit for it on the book, so my name isn't listed. So what the fuck does it matter to you? It doesn't. Am I supposed to show my fucking pay stubs? Look, I got a paycheck like you fucking care. We all work. We all get paychecks. What the fuck does that matter to you? Doesn't matter to you. So I don't matter to you, right? This is why I haven't been doing live draws. Why drag my ass out of bed to sit alone online for 2 to 3 hours because I'm fucking completely ignored anyway? But hey, let's listen to Wes bitch about black women writers like Nora Jemisin and Nydia Kaur for having worked for DC and Marvel. Yeah, they don't deserve it. They don't know what they're doing. They're ruining comics, right? Right. These women who have received more writing awards than Thinking Critical's audiences have collectively experienced orgasms in their miserable fucking lives. Don't tell me that they aren't qualified to be writing comics professionally, you ignorant fucking twats. And it would be one thing if it was just that these asswipes ignored my channel, didn't support us, Chris. But it's not just about me. We have numerous other YouTube channels owned by and operated by 30 to 50-year veteran creator, editor, publishers that are also being ignored. Sites like Geekview Tavern, hosted by Dave Olbrich, who has over 40 years experience as a publishing professional, including being an editor, being the publisher of Malibu Comics, management executive, talent agent. He's San Diego Comics marketing expert and marketing official for the convention. His channel's got a whole whopping 606 subscribers. Not very many, is it?
No, it's not.
We got Randy Zimmerman, publisher of Arrow Comics 4.0. 38 years in the industry as a writer, artist, editor, and publisher. Freelance for over 25 different companies in this industry. He launched Flint Comics, a modernized comics newspaper that everyone from DC's Wednesday Comics to several crowdfunded attempts for others have been copying. It ran for 100 issues. His creations, the Preservers, are immortalized mascots for Four-Arm Nature Preserve Arboretum and were presented in the TV series Treehouse Masters for the Discovery Channel as they built a treehouse headquarters for the characters based on his designs. What's his channel got? 300 subscribers. Keep in mind, Randy's also suffered COVID and was in a coma for several months in COVID. We're lucky he's even around still. We've got Throwing Stones, Glasshouse Graphics. Why don't you tell us about that, Chris?
Yeah, it's hosted by David, who has over 40 years experience as a writer, editor, book packager, publisher, and founder of the world's largest international comic and animation talent agency, Glasshouse Graphics, with campuses on 4 different continents. It's also co-hosted by me. I've been a colorist for 18 years in this business, 99.9% indie, and also animation as well. The channel's just started, but with the caliber of guests that we get on there, it really is a shame that, we have like 4 people watching during the live show and maybe 60 to 70 people that watch it afterwards. So
yeah, and you got 46 subscribers. I'll grant you guys have only done like maybe 10 to 15 episodes so far, maybe
something like that. Yeah.
But with the pedigree that David has in this business, this is stuff that people, these should be thousands to tens of thousands of views, subscribers to this fucking channel. I'm sorry. If it isn't going to be mine, it could be David's, it could be Randy's, it could be, either one of the Davids. We got Dan Vado, Slave Labor SRG Publishing, 39-year comics professional, founder of Slave Labor Graphics, founder of the Alternative Press Expo Convention, publishing consultant for multiple clientele, co-host with Emily Parent for the podcast, The Unexpected Mentor, which you can find on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Why not on YouTube? Because you fans have demonstrated no support for the rest of us. Now, if you want to know why this industry is as fucked up as it is, ladies and gentlemen, we're the ones you come to. Not the comic shop owners and clerks like Perch. Not to your fellow fandom. But look at the damn numbers. Look at the lack of subscribers for our channels versus these other jackoffs who have tens of thousands of fucking subscribers. And all they do is bitch and whine and complain and act like entitled brats. And then you all want to know why the creative community and the editors and the publishers aren't listening to or respecting you as an audience. Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
This is the primary reason why I was away for 2 years in 23 and 24. Yes, there were medical issues for both my father and myself, and there was other stuff going on as well. But the fact that I and our other co-host, John Norris, busted our asses off for you from September 2nd, 2019 to December 2022 and produced 458 episodes for 58 subscribers and an average of 16 views of video was why I sat there going, why am I doing this? I spent most of that time away wondering if it was ever even worth coming back, whether it was worth my time and energy. When I came back, it was because of David Campiti and Chris here. They helped rejuvenate a spark in me after I got screwed over by another party for what you now know as the season 5 channel opener, because they did a shitty ass video and really made it so I didn't even want to fucking exist. Now I'm not going to go into the whole 2-year history of how that whole played out leading into David and Chris coming to the rescue and fixing it. But that was a major contributing factor to my depression as well. Now, Chris, with all due respect, your coming to the channel has been both a blessing and a curse, because the truth is you have your own life to lead. And a lot of the time you don't have the time to co-host. And I feel like a jerk pressuring you sometimes to get your part done. And I know you take it in stride like a champ, but I also know I probably get on your nerves.
No, not at all. No, not one little bit, my friend. Not one little bit. So,
okay, well, sometimes it feels like it. Sigma John, both you guys to go out and make a living. And meanwhile, the so-called fans throw money at these fuckwit fanboys who have done nothing in their careers, have never done a damn thing to speak of. Oh, Perch might get to put out a book now. He says he's going to have his book's almost ready to go to print. Okay. How many books have you worked on, Chris?
In my career?
Yeah, hundreds, thousands?
Hundreds, yeah.
I've had over 1,600 books that I've done some level of work on in this industry over the last 35 years. Do I care if Perch puts out a book? Do you care if Perch puts out a book?
No.
Yeah, what we fucking do. And they sit there and tear down and complain, and they tear down my peers, my industry, my art form, because why? They're not making comics the way they were made when they were 12? That's the fuck I get out of their channels. Have you watched any of their shit?
I do not. I didn't even know they existed until I started doing this show with you.
Okay. But the fans who go to Perch and whine, demanding to know where the media coverage for indie comics is, the crowdfunded comics, the printed comics, who laugh and snark and cheer Wes and his aficionados, because they call themselves the aficionados. No, you're not. When they tell you they're talking about the best comics in the whole wide world this week, when the bastards have no coverage of such titles. There's no coverage of the European comic scene, the Asian comic scene, the Australian comic scene, the Canadian comic scene. What's over here on this very channel most every week? Chris, read it.
Mondays, Raven reviews manga. Tuesdays, we always discuss industry goings on. We go over crowdfunding, bring on guests when we can, take you online shopping, promote Amazon, Indie Planet, Lulu, Drive Through Comics, Power Pulp Comics, Wasted Ink, Zine distribution, and other indie underground zine market products. Thursday night, we do comic reviews.
And
do you see us telling you our picks are the best in comics? No, it's what we like. But when you actually look at who and what we review, we do not actually present a wider array of. We do not.
Do we not?
Do we not actually present a wider array of creators from around the world than Wes and his buddies do on his crappy ass channel? And then there's Perch, Mr. I'm the guy behind the scenes wheeling and dealing as a business consultant the world over. I've talked with the top executives, editors, and marketing people throughout comics. Is that so? Isn't he also the guy who bitches and whines on his channel how he's talked to all these top level people and nobody can explain to him why the American comics publishers aren't following the same business and marketing models and strategies that Viz, Scholastic, Simon & Schuster, Tor Books, Del Rey Books when they had their manga in print, Kodansha, and other manga and publishers have been using to dominate the market.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, now, Perchy Perch Puxington III. It seems to me that if you ever really talked to these people, somebody would have directed your ass to me. Why? Because I wrote the goddamn business models and presented them at San Diego Con in '97. And then I adopted the models specifically for Viz, Scholastic, Del Rey, and Tor. So how come in all these years this prick has never once reached out to yours truly for some education? And if someone doesn't believe me, there it is.
It's right there in black and white.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and go through this entire damn thing for you because, number one, it's almost 30 years old. The content is outmoded and outdated. Could I be hired to work with certain people like Dave Olbrich, like Campidi, like others who have worked in this thing and have done packaging for these companies under these programs and modernize it? Yes, we could. We're not going to do it for free. You want it done? We're here. Let us know. The same bastard, Perch, likes to play Captain Obvious Obliviousness. I'm Perch, and I'm one of the biggest. And one of the biggest problems in the industry today is lack of proper distribution. Well, thank you, half-assed Holmes, for that amazing insight. None of the rest of us would have thought of that. Surely not I, who co-founded and ran the co-op distributor, the Comic Artist Press Alliance co-op, for a decade, that you, as a retailer, never used when you ran your two little stores in Seattle, Washington, when you ran your store in Colorado. Surely not Barry Gregory, founder of Kablam and IndiePlanet.com, who originally set up and tried to be a distributor, but was told by the retailers to F off, more or less. Certainly not Kevin Clady and his distribution group out of Ohio, Arizona, and Georgia. Now he's strictly in Georgia. T.C. Ford, Randy Zimmerman, Luke Stone, who do FundMyComic.com. Before it was FundMyComic.com, they were trying to do a distribution suit, and they got screwed over by a partner right before Randy got sick and was in the damn coma. How many more people do I need to cite here before the point is made? Unlike Perch, all of us and more have been trying for decades to fix this problem. But Perch and the majority of retailers in this industry have told us all to fuck off and die because, oh noes, we don't have DC and Marvel's books and approvals, and we're not working with them, so we don't matter. Do you see Perch's interviews with Barry or with Phil Russert of the new distribution, Philbo Distribution? No. But have they been on my channel as guests? You bet your fucking asses they have. Where are Perch and Wes's interviews promoting new and upcoming talent? Nowhere to be seen. It's always the superstar creators. Now, sure, I brought my share of superstar guests on my channel as well. But here's the point. Perch keeps quoting his audience who say they're demanding to know where the coverage of the indie scene is, where's the talk about the up-and-coming talent that we don't know about. It's right here. It's always been right here. Now, I don't review every popular title because you've already got plenty of that elsewhere, and many of you are clearly not satisfied with that content. And so I and Chris and John try to find other stuff that we hope you'll like. And we sure as hell don't deserve to be ignored for the time and effort we put into it or bitched at by fucking nobodies because we aren't telling you your opinions about, or our opinions about how much the Spider-Bat X-Manure books suck. You already know they suck. You've already told us that they suck. You don't need us to confirm your bias. So excuse the hell out of me and Chris and John for trying to do something right for this business. I hope you're fucking happy to hear me say this. I assume people will still conclude I am jealous. Do you see myself marketing myself and demanding my audience pay me for yet more content? No, you don't. But you're seeing it out West and his crew, and the content they produce, their content is absolute shit. Let me throw it down a subscription so I can hear Doc tell me all about how he's going to fix the X-Men. You're going to fix Jack Fackall, you moron. Marvel could hire the two Daves, Randy, Dan, and myself, and we could work in tandem and reboot the whole fucking Marvel universe and fix it and set it up in sync with whatever Disney wants to do. And it would be 1,000% better than anything currently being done. And all we would fucking hear from Wes and his pals is, who the fuck are these guys and why were they brought in? They don't know comics or care about the history or blah, 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 blah. We, the two Daves, Randy, Dan, myself, Joe and James Pruitt, the late Gary Reed, I'm trying to think of his name, Ed Dukeshire. We are the reason you ever had a Bendis, Brubaker, Remender, Hickman, Otley, Joe Bennett, Al Rio, Mike Diodato, Francis Mandible, Yildiray Snar, Mohamed Asrar, Freddie Williams, and over 830 currently active writers and artists in this business. Not because of any motherfucker from Image, not because of Tom Brevoort, not because of C.B. Cebulski, not Jim Lee, not Dan DiDio, not Bob Harris or Tom DeFalco or Joe Quesada. Get that through your thick fucking skulls. There is no Image Comics without Dave Olbrich's contributions to helping them set that damn company up. That company doesn't last more than 3 to 5 years without the contributions of Ulbrich, Larry Marger, the late Gary Reed, the Pruitt brothers, Joe and James, myself, and others. In fact, half the people that they sat there and rated out of our fucking talent pools, out of our publishers, when they helped implode the damn market in the 90s by doing what they did and signing an exclusive Diamond. People like Bob Harris and Joe Quesada deliberately blackballed myself and Campidi and his people at Glass House in the 90s and early 2000s, putting completed series in mothballs that were never to be released. In fact, telling us that they weren't good enough to be published after, in some cases, we were published. With Marvel, telling the books weren't good enough after we already had been released. That's good, right?
Right.
And David's already shown you this on my channel. David talked about it on Throwing Stones as well. He's talked about it on Facebook in the last 2 years because everything's past the whatever you want to call it. What's the phrasing I'm trying to think of? Limitation of time or whatever, you know.
Right. The sell by date.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, you know, putting our work to the side and not releasing it and letting their ass-kissing buddies' books put in place of our books because they were scared that the audience would prefer us to what they were putting out themselves, and that they would then, what would happen is we would come in and do what they did to the previous generation and take over. Now, I can't speak for David, but I have repeatedly said I don't want to be in charge. That I don't even want to work for these companies at this point.
Right.
You know, now, am I saying that they dumped enough of money in front of me and gave me the right situation that I wouldn't change their mind? No, I'm not saying that. it'd be one hell of a damn. I can't even imagine what they would offer me that would make me change my mind at this point.
It'd have to be one hell of an opportunity.
Yeah. I just, it's the same thing with DC. There's just, I mean, the first thing would have to happen is everybody who screwed me over, who screwed Randy and Dave over, would have to be would have to be gone permanently. That would be the first thing. And I don't see that happening in my lifetime, so I just don't give a shit. So, and like I said, I can't speak for David, but I think based on what David has kind of hinted at over the last year or so, he probably feels very similarly.
Yes.
I had dozens of artists in my former studio who came to me and asked to be let out of their contractual obligations. I mean, who asked if they could leave the studio because they were verbally and threatened in writing by Cebulski, by Harris, by Casada, by Eric Stevenson, with being blacklisted if they associated themselves with me or my studio. And I've got physical evidence of this. By all rights, I should name those creators and sue Marvel and Image for sabotaging my business at the time and force them to come forward in court to testify. But this was 20 fucking plus years ago, number one. And the only reason I didn't do it at the time was because both my parents suffered heart attacks and strokes, and I had more important matters to try and help take care of my family first. And so I let my people go. And I let them have the careers that they deserved, and I wanted them to have. But I don't need to hear some fucknut ex-retailer tell me to do it for the love or to just do it. I've done it already over 1,600 times, and you can see how much anybody gives a shit. And that is why 2 weeks ago I had shooting pains across my pectoral muscle and my arm went numb and I wound up in the fucking emergency room. It's why I'm sitting here right now wearing a fucking sensor on my chest. There it is. I gotta wear it for the next fucking 3 weeks to find out what the fuck actually happened to me. If it was, we still don't know what the hell it was. As far as medically, but I know what the hell happened. The stress of putting my ass on the goddamn line every day, trying to hit 4 to 5 deadlines a week for this show, trying to scramble for other work that actually pays me something, since nobody bothers to support this channel, while these other jackoffs, these pissants who have done essentially nothing for this business, have tens of thousands of subscribers and thousands of views every day for basically being whiny-ass bitches who complain about what they don't like about comics and other entertainment, who get paid for basically being assholes. Well, I and my peers, dare I say my friends, who have each put decades of our lives into this art form, who have contributed legacies just as valid as your overhyped, overrated superstars. Again, several of whom would never even have had the opportunities to become superstars if we hadn't taken the time to acknowledge and coach them up and place them in the business in the first place. We're all being completely ignored and disregarded as virtually non-existent. That is just as much of a psychological stressor in its own way as the angry mob fandom that attacked Ed Piskor for no valid reason. And we all saw what happened to Ed. Randy almost died from COVID after being screwed on a major financial investment. Like I said, that other third party was going to be a distributor. But that's Randy's story to tell. David Campini's wife is in a car accident. Nobody seems to give a shit. Instead, fucking people are attacking Dave for shit that was said 20 years ago by some idiot that took something out of context. That's the news, according to Bleeding Cool.
Yeah.
And then there's other things going on in Dave's life that I'm not at liberty to openly discuss. Dealing with his personal life. Again, that's Dave's story to tell, and I'm not, I respect him too much to, blurt something out about that. But Chris knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
No support for these people. No support on their YouTube channels, not on their crowdfunding, not in the stores, and it sickens me. I have no idea how much money he lost, because he hadn't spoken to me since before the COVID that nearly killed him, because that third party prick poisoned them against me. I wish Randy would come out and talk to me. I don't know what his issues are, but the door's open anytime, Randy. Come talk to me. I have no idea how much financial stress that whole situation caused him and his family. I know David had some insurance. I know his wife is mostly recovered from the accident so far. Physically, I don't know how she's doing mentally. I haven't spoken to Merle. But I hope she's doing well. But again, where was the support for anybody here? I'm looking at my other peers who are killing themselves on social media, trying to self-market their work and their brands. And all I see and hear from retailers and fans is how greedy we all are, how selfish we all are, how we abandoned the direct market in these other platforms. Does it ever occur to you that the reason we all left the direct market is because you weren't supporting our work enough and we had to take our business elsewhere? But what do Perch and Wes and others say? I wish they'd come back to DC and Marvel. Fuck you. If you appreciate us and respect us, support what the fuck we're doing now. This is why I had those chest pains. Why I struggled with crippling depression that my doctors won't even fucking treat because I don't have insurance, because I'm not producing books, because I'm too depressed to write or draw and spend 2 fucking years off camera not even wanting to exist at all. You need therapy. No. What the fuck I and my peers need and deserve is your fucking respect and your financial support, not you wasting your goddamn time and money on fan wankery shit that has nothing to support this business, the creators who work in it, or the art form. Enough said? Is it enough said, Chris?
I think you said it very succinctly.
You have to give me a second. I'm not feeling right at the moment. Let me do something here real quick. This is a heart monitor device that goes with the sensor you saw on my chest. What activity would you say I'm in? Light, medium, or heavy?
Heavy.
Well, heavy, they mean physical labor, I think, but medium, just say?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Got one more remark from the peanut gallery. Why don't you cover more about what Diamond is doing in the lawsuits and stuff? Isn't that news? From Robert W. Okay. And just where the hell were you back in 2001 when I personally went after Diamond as an investigative journalist for Steve Jackson Games' comics news site, Comic Book Life, where I exposed Diamond for over 350 counts of fraud, solicitation, tampering, falsifying the orders for the sales of the books, reneging on contracts to many of the very same companies who are now suing their asses, not because they bought out the other distributors back in the 90s and never paid those publishers for the stock that those other distributors had that they acquired, and they got ripped off then. In other words, dumbass, no, it isn't news to me. This is business as usual for Diamond. To me, it's all just history repeating itself, because back then, as now, you fans don't listen to your experts like me. You assumed back then, because shitty-ass fan sites like Comic Book Resources, Wizard, Newsarama, and that ilk didn't follow up, and I offered this piece openly to all comics news sources, that there must be something wrong with or untrue with what I had said. The only thing wrong was Steve Jackson Games didn't take money from Diamond as a sponsor so that they could be honest as a news source. Where the hell were you, Robert, back in January of this year when I discussed the Diamond bankruptcy and explained why it should have happened back in 2017? And I explained to you why it didn't, and how because of things were handled, and why it allowed the big corporations to shift away from Diamond in 2018 and 2023, and why DC did what it did as COVID ramped up and left the indies with no protection. January 25th, 2025, Cracked Diamond. It's in the archives. Go watch it. Was that not enough coverage for you? Next, you're going to bitch because we didn't interview Alliance Entertainment's Bruce Ogilvie like Dennis Barger Jr. on his channel, right? Right? What you don't know is that I and David Campini both reached out to Bruce, not just for interview purposes, but to consult and discuss with Alliance's board of directors to schedule a meeting to get the product, assuming they were going to get the buy of Diamond at the time, into mass market vendor outlet chains. This is part of what David's Kickstarter campaign for making comic book spinner racks was potentially going to be marketed for. I was told to wait until the deal was completed, and then we would have a formal discussion. I don't think David ever heard back. Did you ever hear anything from David about it?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
And then the bottom fell out and Alliance didn't get the deal. And why did it fall out? Partly because of Dennis's interview and how the idiot fandom and the idiot retailers in this country chose to misinterpret what Ogilvie had stated during that interview and turned him and his company into a hostile buyout situation. And they knew, on top of this, Diamond knew that they were going to be stiffing some people and screwing people over. And, well, you've seen what Alliance is doing. They're suing Diamond as well. So there you go. So don't hand me no shit. I've done my part. And I sure as hell didn't see Perch or Wes or Stinky Goose, yes, that's why I call him, or your jackass Zach or any of these other jabronis lining up to really get any news. If anything, they've been armchair quarterbacking what has been reported by people actually trying to do their job, like Heidi McDonald, and ridiculing them as incompetent, all in the name of tearing others down to build their own fucking brands. And then you want to know why I hate these people. And do I tell you how to be a collector? How to be a high-end value comic hunter? No. Stinky Goose does. Doc does. Perch has. Why do I not do this? Because that's not what the hell the hobby is about as far as I'm concerned. I'm the guy who tries to cover what everyone else is ignoring because some of you fans claimed that's what you thought was missing from the scene and what you wanted more of. More fool I, more fool us, I don't know anymore. So that's the emails we've received over the last few weeks that I've been sitting in. Now that I've pissed you all off, like I've been pissed off, can we talk about something positive, like crowdfunding talk? Is that okay with you fuckers out there? Am I just over the line today or what?
No, this has been building for quite a while. And you've asked me like, should I do this? Should I cover this? Should I go out? And I've been, like, just take it easy, but it's been building and building and building and building. So yeah. This is come to a head and this is what it is.
Okay. Let's talk about crowdfunding, folks.
All right. And I got to step out for just 1 second. Let my dogs out. I'll be right back.
Okay. We're going to be positive anyway. So
yes,
moving forward. But all right, Chris is going to be gone for just a few moments. It is late because of this. And there is one more email I didn't include that I will talk about real quick before Chris gets back. You went after my other co-host, John. And you bitched because he's covering kids' comics or specifically comics to certain cartoons, Disney, Hanna-Barbera characters, whatever. I don't know what the hell you expect. Why is it okay for thinking critical of the others to sit there and praise it, and we review it honestly, and he reviews it as a fan and tells you what he likes and doesn't like. I'd be critical of it. Chris is being critical of it. What's the difference? Why are you telling me that John should be covering something else? That was unfair to him. It gets very annoying trying to tell us how to do our damn jobs. And it's okay if you don't like us. You don't want to watch the channel, okay, fine. If this means a whole exodus of fans or viewers or whatever, I don't know. But we're going to move on. When Chris gets back here shortly. Like I said, he has to let the dogs out. Let me go potty for the night, before they come in for the night. But we got some other stuff to talk about. So let me go ahead and get the screen on here. All right. As you can see, this is Legends of the Stargrazers graphic novel by our friend David Capidi. As you see, I've backed it. Joining sexy sailors of the Space Wars epic journey, drawn by Matt Thompson, Randy Elliott, Thomas Sheets, Yet Nestor Redondo, and more. This is a collection of the classic 80s, early 90s miniseries that Capidi and friends wrote and produced for, hold on a minute. We'll get to it here. Back in, I want to say the 80s, for innovation. As you can see, they've got all their push goals. There's a Just jacket. They've unlocked funding goal 15,000. Where are they at? 19,000. Okay, so they should be past the dust jacket and nearing the comic excavation PDF, which is the original Stargazer story from '83, and the little scene Ron Lim Stargazer's Midgeonette from '87. So that's what should be getting unlocked here soon. Let's take a cool look at this art here, this cover. I'm sure some people will go, hey, wait a minute, doesn't this look like the classic Mark Schultz artwork? Well, yeah, that was kind of an innovation or inspiration rather for it. Mm-hmm. Whoops, sorry, this is here. I'm waiting for Chris to get back here. Might take a little bit longer than I think for him to get back. But, you know, I backed it because I remembered the original series back in the day. And I don't have them. I think I have one issue maybe of the series, so I wanted to get the whole thing. And yes, okay, it's the usual, you know, hot babes that Dave likes to write and draw about. That's what he does. You know, we understand that. But it's, you know, quality artists for good girl art and space adventure. It is for 16 and up, I would say. But again, you know, we're talking about Vanguard illustrators. There you go. The cover, you know, that was done by Schultz, there you go, promoting their series. There you go. And talk about the different creators: Matt Thompson, Randy Element, Kevin Van Hook did the coloring. The new colorist is Erwin Ira, who remastered all the pages. We got Tana Sheets. We got Nestor Redondo with Rick Magyar. Bart Sears did some work in here. So, there's just a lot of quality stuff. And we're going to, get into the video part here when Chris gets back. All right, here he is. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what I can get this thing to play here.
Ouch! Ow!
I wish he didn't have the silly women moaning in it, but
That was David's. He's like, I love that.
yes, I know that was Dave. I know.
But I am happy to see that it's almost at 20 grand. So
yeah, and like I mentioned while you were away, that does mean that there's going to be another push funding goal,
stretch goal, yeah.
Stretch goal unlocked. I don't know why the stretch goal hasn't been updated because the dust jacket has been unlocked. Oh, it does say unlocked. I'm sorry, I misread it. Okay. So yeah, you got the book grade upgraded. You got the dust jacket added. Now getting the digital download from the original 83 and 87 works. I think would be really cool.
Yes, absolutely would be.
Yeah, so that would be a cool thing. And like I said, I backed it because I remembered it from the original run and always wanted to get the whole thing. I just never was able to find it. Even in the 80s, good independent comics were always hard to find.
Right.
But, we've gone through a lot of this stuff, and if that's what the book is going to look like, hardcover edition, it's worth it,
Oh yeah, the books are gorgeous. Nice great paper stock, beautiful hardcovers. It's got the artwork on the dust jacket, and I believe there's artwork on the inside under the dust jacket as well.
Yes. The hardcover will have library binding, which the cover printed on the hardcover itself.
Yes.
So that's what that means by library binding. So you're actually going to have good art on this, even if like you get it in the library and the dust jacket gets tore up at the library, at least they'll have a good cover to have on it to show.
Exactly. And this is just pure fun storytelling with some great good girl art. It's just good stuff.
That's when the book actually will look.
Yeah.
So there you go. Definitely worth what you're getting. There's some variant covers as well that you can pick. I picked the basic cover by the interior artist Matt Thompson, but there's other stuff that you could pick as well.
And David and a lot of people have put a lot of time and money into bringing this back.
Yeah, I mean, we got Fabio Passini, and of course the ineffable CC De La Cruz. You can get a metal lunchbox. I mean, come on, just all kinds of cool stuff on this. There's how many hours left? There's less than 24 hours left to go. Let's get them over to 20,000 and get that third expanded one for the digital download unlocked, folks. Okay, that'll be worth your time, I think.
Absolutely.
All right. And again, you guys probably want to know the link to that campaign is in the description of this video, so you can find it. All right. Let's go ahead and do the next one. Sorry, my internet's being screwy. That's not what I wanted.
Mine's been screwy all day.
Let's look at Space Captain by Chris Baldy. Space Captain, Captain of Space. A 242-page space epic that sees the last man of Earth trying to make his way back home. It's already exceeded its pledge goal, so it's already going to be completed. You're going to get your stuff. 7 days left to go. Let's see what they have to say.
Hello, and welcome to the Space Captain Kickstarter. You may remember Space Captain from Kickstarters I've run in the past when I released the 6 individual issues over the course of 4 years. That's 6 issues of our titular character bounding around various planets, predators, and past traumas. Earlier this year, a French publisher took those 6 issues and popped them into a wonderful single collected volume and has sold them in France, Belgium, Switzerland, and even Quebec. So now it only seems right that I finally create the English version too. So here we are, the book is done, over 250 pages, perfectly bound, silk matte finish on the cover, and even some test prints done for quality control. For the rewards, I'm keeping it super simple this time around, with just 1 physical and 1 digital tier, and that's it. I'm trying to make this as affordable as possible for everyone as it's tough out there right now, and I'd rather focus on getting everyone a book for the best price than spending a bunch of time and money on extras that would be nice to have but ultimately aren't needed. There are always some digital add-ons you can pop into the mix if you really want to help support the project, but for the main deal it's just those 2 options. So I really hope you can back this book, as it'll be a great addition to anyone's bookshelf, but if not, don't worry. Share the campaign around if you can, as word of mouth is more helpful than you can imagine. So thanks again for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed the book.
Now that was Scottish.
Yes, that was. If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
But that being said, he's past his goal. Got a week to go. Should be, pretty decent. Haven't backed it yet. I don't know if I'll be able to back it, and we'll get into why in a minute. It's nothing to do with Chris. It has to do with what I just learned about some things. But
Right.
we'll get into that. You get to download issue 1 for free, so you can at least look at issue 1 if you want. Again, he's only giving you a digital and a physical. Why are you being so basic? Basically, like he says, to keep your costs low, make production easier, reduce the stress of fulfilling a Kickstarter.
Yeah, all these, very varied covers and all this, extra stuff that all costs money. It all costs money to produce, which raises the cost for the basic pledges.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and he knows exactly what every parcel is going to weigh. He knows exactly how he's going to ship to where and what cost it's going to be. So it makes a difference. He looks at it as a win-win for everybody, and I don't disagree with it. You get 242 pages on a PDF, or you get the physical book, perfect bound. Full color. Yeah, nearly 250 pages. I like that. Good for wedging open windows.
and in this 242 pages, you get Big SFX, little men running from their problems, and mustaches.
Yes. And you can get other PDFs, that he has done for books. And there's cool stuff there. There's Jacques, there's Roll to One, which is, like your D&D thing that I know Chris would dig.
Mm-hmm.
We said goodbye to gravity. That would be a cool science fiction thing. There's just, cool stuff here. And you can get all 4 of them for 134 pages to store for a PDF as well. Different,
And it's great art too. So
yeah. So what does he want? Physical book is $25 American. For 242-page book, that's reasonable.
Very.
And you get your digital book, which is $17, which is still reasonable. I think for a number of pages you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the others will be add-ons that you would pick on after you've made your selection for the extra books. So
right.
Now I don't know how much he wants for those. So, he doesn't say, because it's not something that you buy extra. You have to actually add those on. So,
right.
Now, why would I not possibly get this? Because I definitely would normally get this. Well, like I said, I just went to the fucking hospital for this lovely heart problem. $32,000 bill.
ER is no joke.
Yeah. So, what does that mean for this check? What does it mean for me? Well, what it means is, I guess I have to come back to doing live draw somehow, even though my head has not been there. But do I want to sit there for hours on end and have no support?
Well, I mean, I guess if people buy the art, then it doesn't really matter if nobody's watching, right?
True, but they can't buy the art if they don't know it's there.
That's true. That's true as well. So
that's the thing. So I don't know what we're going to do about it. I know I need to start making another channel, not a channel, but a platform to sell the art and sell other things again. I'm not going to be, hey, give me a Patreon and back my videos. I've been doing this for 6 years and never asked you people for that. Why would I start now? I'm not going to charge you and say, well, this is how I would fix Marvel. It's like, even if I could go into all of the history of that and everything went exactly the way I thought it would, which it would never happen that way. Even if I was put in a position to do something, it doesn't work like that in the real world, kids. There's just no way that I would sit there and even if all of us did everything we could, the fans would still complain.
Someone's always going to complain.
Yeah. And it's just how many and why. And the way I look at it, from watching people online, it's because they aren't the ones doing it themselves. They think they could do a better job. And, the only thing I can tell you then is shut up, get off the internet, and go make your own comic. Or go pitch to Marvel and DC and try and get your roles in, because, if you think those other people that got their chances aren't qualified and didn't deserve to be here, well, I'll tell you one thing: they all fucking busted their asses and got in with the right people and talked to the right people and got the approval of the right people.
Yeah, find out how easy it is to do it yourself.
So
it's so easy.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I have to say about that. But anyway, will I back this book? As soon as I figure out, I got 7 days. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I don't want to not support books I believe in.
Right.
And I realize talking about the book is supporting it in some ways, but I genuinely feel like this is going to be an issue for the show moving forward, because if I'm not saying people pay me so I can go buy books to read and review. Pay me for the other content that I'm going to provide on the channel, and what Chris is providing on the channel as a colorist or whatever. There's other things we have done on this channel in the past.
Right.
Support us on that front if you have to. But at least give me a reason to do shit, rather than feel like if I were to have another heart attack or have another heart episode or something, and I'm not here because I'm in hospital again or whatever, that I don't know. I just feel like intellectually, I know people are going to give a damn if I die in a time. But psychologically, emotionally, that's not how I feel. And
that's understandable.
And you've been there yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think just by the nature of our very business and the seclusion of working from home and of our business, I think most artists are clinically depressed.
It's a good possibility.
And half insane.
Yeah. Well, maybe it is. But anyway, I'm going to try to back it, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to figure out the financials first. So anyway, it's like the price is decent. I don't know. What about you?
I love the art. So when I do get some money, I think I will back this.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll get enough money this week to back it before. I mean, for God's sakes, Chris just got a new refrigerator. Tell us about that. How did you get a new refrigerator?
My wife works at a thrift store, and they just started taking furniture, and it just happened to get donated by a veteran who was getting all new stuff, and we were lucky enough to be able to get it for a decent price. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. There you go. All right. There's that. So.
And there's that tail.
That ain't the tail. That's the front.
No, his tail went by.
Uh-huh.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back on the internet. Pause.
I'll protect you.
Pause is coming for you.
Yes, hello. Hello. He's just purring his head off. Hello. You're a good boy. That's another thing, this little guy. Who knows how much longer we're going to have him around.
Right.
But anyway. Yeah. So there's that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next Kickstarter. And we are doing Kickstarters only tonight because I did go, and I will talk about we do have an Indiegogo thing, but I talked about it a little bit earlier about how their channel operates and why it's difficult for me to pick certain ones. But I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. Okay. We have Runners, Volume 3, graphic novel. Of course, they are now almost at 17,000 from their 8,000 goal.
Very nice.
24 hours ago. Let's update that one. Let me see if I can refresh the page real quick. Okay, it hasn't gone up yet. Just wanted to make sure. This is, again, the third. If you are a fan of Firefly or the Han Solo type side of Star Wars, this would be your jam. This received the nomination for Best Online Comic Long Form from the National Cartoonist Society. I've got the first 2 books already. This is the Volume 3, The Facts of Character.
Gorgeous artwork.
Oh, yeah.
Can't speak to the writing, but it's gorgeous artwork.
Oh, no, the writing is awesome. This book came out literally like a month and a half before Firefly did at San Diego Con. And people who saw Firefly afterwards thought that he copied part of the storyline from them, even though he came out first.
Oh, jeez.
That's
how it goes. The more popular one, they think, that anybody else after that or before that copied. So
yeah. So is that kind of a thing? But I just love his art. Look at his line weight.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
He knows how to do color palettes correctly.
Mm-hmm. Everything is perfect.
224-page graphic novel, $25. I already backed it. I'm not, and digital is only 10. How can you go wrong there?
You can't really.
Yeah. And all 3 digital volumes, $30. So, certainly worth your time. All 3 paperback volumes is $65. That's what I would have gotten if I didn't already have the first 2. Hardcovers is $80. That's certainly worth it. Just awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you back this one if you can. Oh, come on, Leland. He's pushing me forward in the chair. Behind. You want to be up front. I want to be in your lap. Well, then let me get backward here. let me scooch back. There you go. Now you can get up front. Oh, here. You want to look at it? Here. Let them look
Can't
at
make
you.
up his mind what he wants to do.
Damn it, I'm going to be here on the camera. Here I am. See me. Support my master so he can pay for my vet bills as well as his own. At least the vet bills aren't $30,000. Jesus Christ.
Darth Shadow. When I left you, Raven, I was but a learner. Now I am the master. Darth Midnight.
Yeah. Okay. You want to look out there and let everybody see your face or what? Not really. I don't want anybody seeing me. I want to hide in the shadows.
Help me, Raven. You're my only hope.
Don't do that. Oh, that hurt my ears. Oh, literally hurt my ears. Oh, anyway, where is the next? Share. Our friend JD Calderon's Oswald Chronicles. What my eyes see, I cannot tell. She's went through 42 hours to go, so just a little bit less than 2 days. Almost 3,500 out of a $500 goal, so they're going to be fine. Now it's there. You just saw it grow up over 3,500. Available rewards: full set and alt and regular covers. 3 and 4. Different PDF levels.
Yeah, and JD's been on the show. He's been doing this a long time. So you're gonna get your money's worth. You're gonna get a great product. There's not gonna be any disappointment here.
Yeah. Just a second. Where are you going? Hello. Oh, Pat. I'm sorry. You have to get that. Yeah. Oh, he was trying to climb on use the damn fencer as a foot pedal or something. Jeez. All right. Let's see what we got here. Just, interesting. What's the right word? Anthropomorphic. That's what I was trying to think of there. Different art styles, different things going on. There's the interior art. That's JD's kind of expertise in a way.
Really good stuff.
Yeah. And then there's his collaborator, Jay Gonzalez. And they're already done, so there's really, just a matter of getting them to the right presses and whatever to do. So there you go. Again, am I going to back it? I want to. I don't know if I have the money right now because of the circumstances that just happened. But Anyway, we'll see what I can do. How about you, Chris?
It's beautiful stuff. The not quite my cup of tea though.
Yeah.
But it is gorgeous stuff. And if this is your cup of tea, you absolutely should back this.
Our next book is The Super Ego, short comics of Jason Latour, a new 176-page collection from the co-creators Spider-Gwen and Southern Bastards. So there you go. Because he's a big name guy, he's a project we love at Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his 36,000, a little bit less than, he's only. But look at the number of backers, less than 500 backers. This is a guy who co-created Spider-Gwen. This is a guy who has a popular series from Image and Southern Bastards. He's done other good comics. Why is he not getting more support than that? When you stop to think about it.
Right.
But let's take a look at the video.
I have loved comics and cartoons since I was like 4 years old. The comics in the Sunday funnies that my grandpa read at the kitchen table were no less important to me than the issues of X-Men I saved up my hard-earned money for. The further and farther I got into being a part of comics, the narrower that path got. Comics becomes your life. It gets way too easy to get granular about the differences between fandom or the tools you use to make them. You spend too much time in it, come up with a lot of reasons why you're not allowed to do certain things. Super Ego is a 176-page collection of the comics and shorts that I've done over the past few years. These are comics that were fun, they were therapeutic, they were challenging. In some places, this collection owes a lot to superheroes, and in others, it's more like Saturday Night Live. A friend of mine said these are the comics that feel the most like hanging out with me. And when I flip through it, I guess I also see myself searching for a way to put the guy he's talking about onto paper. But more than that, I think I see myself almost surprisingly falling back in love with comics. So if you'd like to see what I'm bringing to the table, there are a good chunk of these comics available for your perusal via my socials already. But I want you to know that over half of this collection is brand new, and virtually none of it has ever been put into print before. But if that is not enough, and dear God, let it be enough for you, just once in your life, do know that I have some pretty rare rewards planned, like original art and a few cool surprises if we hit the stretch goals. But most of all, I want you to know that I worked really hard to complete every stitch of this collection before I brought it to Kickstarter. This is a book that's completely written, drawn, designed, and all that's left to do, the only stones left to turn over are to fund it, to print it, and to ship it to you. In my career, I have been, I guess you'd call it lucky enough, to see the comics I've worked on be turned into anything and everything under the sun. And as surreal and amazing as that has been at times, there's also times when I wake up in a sweat in the middle of the night, feeling responsible for some future patch of plastic toys floating out there in the Pacific Ocean. And I guess that's why this collection means so much to me, because it has nothing to do with anything but making comics. I'm here because I'm hoping you're the kind of audience that will appreciate that and will help me bring them to some kind of new life. Thanks a ton in advance and for putting up and bearing with me through all this. And hopefully I'll see you in the funny papers.
Yep.
What do you do with your hands? What do you do with your hands?
Yeah. There you go. At least he's, humorous about it. And, it's I don't know. I mean, it's got Mad Magazine meets superhero meets slice of life. Well, okay, whatever. There's your Alan Moore, obviously.
Yes, very much Alan Moore.
There's Larry Bird.
Yeah, we got Tom. What's his face from Smallville?
That
Yeah.
looks like Rolling. Yep. It just different things about who he was. Dr. Damned, Devilish Details. Yeah, that actually looks like a Doctor Doom meets Hellboy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Big shoes. Okay, he's going after Bigfoot. I gotta get Bigfoot. Just a lot of cool stuff there. And you can get a hardcover or digital PDF, I guess. You can get art tier, dealer's choice, whatever, by commission. Now he's a little expensive on some of that stuff, in my opinion, but yet it is, but it isn't. I mean, first come, first serve. You go to the dealer's choice art gallery. If you do a commission, $750 each one. Sounds like a lot, but I don't
commissions these days. That's not too bad.
Yeah. $140 for a bundle for retailers. That's not bad for 176 page book. His reward tiers. You get a lot of stuff. Just in general, cool stuff. Hardcover is $40 plus your digital. Digital is $20 by itself. Art remark is $100. The bundle is $140. Dealer's choice is $350. Round 2 is $400, and your super tier commission and your everything. So it's not too bad. I wouldn't go for the high stuff right now for obvious reasons. If I were a retailer, I would go with the bundle, just because there's got to be 5 people who would want that in a
right
shop. You just have to be. Why wouldn't there be? You got Spider-Gwen fans. You've got other fans of his work that should want that. So I don't know. $20 for digital isn't that bad.
It is not too shabby at all. No.
And I guess I would probably go $40 for the hardcover. How many more days does he have? 7? 36 hours. Okay. So I need to hurry up and make up my mind on that. It's hard right now. I mean, most all these things would be yes if I didn't have the freaking medical bill.
Right.
Because I have to freaking figure out how I'm going to pay for that and do other things. So anyway, which is going to be really fun when I show you the last thing of the night, but we'll get into that in a minute. Let's see what else we got. We've already shown you that one. We've shown you that one. We're going to return to Kaijus and Cowboys, which we have talked about. The trade I got for volume 1 through 6 right here. We had Matthew and Frankie Washington on the channel to promote the crowdfunding for this bad boy. But the next issue of the series has come out, so let's go ahead and talk about number 7. It's got 11 hours ago. It just passed the $1,500 goal. It's got a whopping 56 backers. I'm not going to back it because I'm going to wait for the trades, to be honest. But that being said, I do always want to promote this series because it is a very well done series.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
And I mean, the crazy coloring, and it's so brilliant. Let's, I mean, you guys can see it there on the screen, on the, way it's done looks on a digital, on a camera. And he's also talking about other books in his campaign like Romanus Magicae and Guardians of the Last Dragon, which we've also reviewed on the show in the past, so you can get those as well. But let's take a quick look at just how crazy and brilliant the printing is on this stuff.
Yeah, beautifully printed. The colors, the liner, everything came out fantastic.
So you can get an idea of what to expect out of issue number 7. Okay? General store's $1. Kaiju Feed is the digital copy for $5. The print is $10, and that's because you only got 56. People ask why these levels so high at $10 for a 22-page book or $25 for a 22-page book. It's because we don't have 20, 30,000 print runs. We have 200 print runs, or 150 print runs. 500 print runs.
The smaller the print run, the more expensive it is.
And if you want this stuff to be this $250 to $299 that you keep screaming at Perch and Wes, hey, why can't the publishers do that? It's because you guys aren't ordering enough freaking copies.
Or at all.
And you can't do this by Dynamite publishing 60 versions of the same book either.
Right.
It has to be it has to be 20, 30,000 copies of the main cover minimum, and that, there's only 2,000 comics book shops. You understand what that means? Yeah, it means 15 copies a store on average. Not every store is going to do that, do the population base, but Bob's bullpen up there in Alpena might order 3 instead of 15 because that's what he can afford for his small community. But the people down in Detroit can fucking afford to cover him. Right. They got more of an audience base down there, and they should be ordering, 27 instead of 15.
Right.
That's just the way I look at it,
Yep.
And I know I'm probably being a jerk for saying it, but that's just how I feel. I don't know. You agree with me or not?
No, I agree. Yeah. If you have more means and you have a bigger audience and bigger store, hey, do more.
So anyway, it is what it is. And we got Deputy, Monster Barn. You can get Kaiju and Cowboys with Guardians of the Last Dragon, which I've already reviewed. This one is a trading card and a copy of issue 7. The Yeehaw Bundle is the book I just showed you, the big book trade with the issue number 7. Or the floppies you can get, or whatever. There's a lot of stuff here that are worth your time. And, that's what I get, But I'll wait for a little while to get more Kaijus and Cowboys as a collection, I think. I think I just prefer to have them in the trades rather than getting them in the floppies. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to have Matt and Frankie on the show again. I will. And we're certainly going to keep promoting the book because it's worth promoting. So, all right. Let's see what else we got. We got one more book to talk about tonight. It was funded in under 8 hours. It's got over $100,000 backing. So we know it's a major book. It's the Book of Juice Go by Joe Pruitt. And again, look at that.
Oh, so this is a Joe Jusko art book.
Yes.
So like the first, I'd say 10 years of my career, because I had never had a painting lesson, I'm self-taught. I taught myself by seeing how other people did stuff. And I love art instruction books. I love collections of people's work. I like looking at art. You know, I love looking at stuff that I don't do, that I can't do, that inspires me. So I think that's the reason my addiction for the art books and stuff like that. I'm always trying to learn and add a little bit more to what I know, and I just appreciate other. I like the stuff that's a little bit more organic and reality based. You know, so I'm a frustrated wildlife artist, so the Tarzan covers are like right in my wheelhouse. You know, I got to paint lions and elephants and gorillas and all kinds of stuff. So it's hard to come across all of the stuff I've done because I've done so much, and I've branched out into so many different genres and small companies. It's the perfect place to get everything sort of combined in one area. You know, the first book that we did back in 2008 covered just about everything I did for the first almost 30 years of my career. This one covers everything from 2008 to now. There are a lot of retail exclusives that people have never seen. There are a lot really short run, short press things that were in individual books here and there. It's the perfect place if you're a fan of my stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in here that you've never seen, simply because I don't do one thing, and I try to diversify as much as possible.
Now, this is produced by Joe Pruitt. And again, here's another guy that I was telling you, one of the guys that really has been a backbone player, along with his twin brother, James. He's an Eisner Award winner for designing the art of Brian Boland. Five-time Eisner Award nominee, editor for Negative Burn, again, for designing the art of Pete Craig Russell. So this is, what he does, and damn good at it. Of course, he did help to launch Aftershock Comics and then left in early 2024, because there was a lot, you see what the hell's happened with Aftershock. They're suing and being sued by Diamond too. Now they're part of the, Ninth Circle imprint, publishing Image, and he's still also doing his company, Desperado Publishing, which this is what this is about. And of course, we talk about the Marvel masterpieces, and this has, some of that stuff, as well as private commissions and personal archive pieces. The breakdowns from pencils to inks to painted work. Certainly gorgeous stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you think about the some of the modern, quote unquote, modern painting masters, Joe is definitely up there.
You get a 6-card trading set for $30. That's $5 a card. How can you bitch? For a printer card, it's fine. You can get them signed. I really don't necessarily want mine signed, but okay. The book itself is $75. Yeah, that's about right for an art book these days.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, especially one that's over 200 pages.
And of this quality.
Yeah. And that's the deluxe edition. The regular tier, retailer tier, I don't know. Is there a slip? This is a slipcase that you can get for it. That's $125. There's a Masterpiece Edition, which is another version. There's only 300 copies of that. There's half of those were left. Unfortunately, the early Bard trading cards are already gone. Yeah, but yeah, is this worth it? I think so.
Absolutely.
I mean, this guy was so important to Marvel Masterpieces that they actually did a tribute set for everybody tributing and trying to bow to him, and so it's there, I don't know. So again, how much time does he have left on this? 8 days. I got a week to think about it. It's not that I don't want it. I absolutely do. Again, it's just the whole financial situation right now.
Right.
So, we'll figure it out.
And if you had to do a Mount Rushmore of modern fantasy painting, comic illustration painting masters, you definitely be like Alex Ross. Joe would be up there. And who else would you put up there?
They have to be alive, right?
Well, anybody that's considered modern,
Well, I mean, Hildebrandt's considered modern. He just passed.
Yes. Hildebrandt would definitely be up there.
I would consider Rene Wright's a master painter for watercolor.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, amazing watercolors. Yeah.
Dave Dorman.
Yep, absolutely.
I have to think about that more. But just off the top of my head right now, those.
No, that's fine. We have our Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. But but yeah, I mean, there's others as well. So, but anyway, yeah, those are our Kickstarter campaigns for the night, as far as I can see. Yep. And so we got one more thing to talk about before we get to the art, and that is again that whole Indiegogo. Did I ever talk about Indiegogo? Well, here I was looking at stuff to talk about Indiegogo. And okay, let's see. Have I talked about Gary Shipman and promoted him before? Yes, I have.
Yes, you have.
Apollyon 20XX, Volume 2, Lest We Forget, from Godforge, or Godfoe. We don't talk about that. We don't promote that. No, not at all. We don't have it. No. Oops, pardon me. There we go. What else is here? Cat Shit 1. Okay, that's what do you call it? An Arctic Press book. We've had Ben Dunn talking about Antarctic Press on his channel.
Mm-hmm. We absolutely have.
Jesus did the Multiverse 2 and Edward Bloom. We've talked about every one of those books because I ordered these books and marketed these books on this channel. I mean, those are just, examples. So to say I don't ever talk about this stuff just, burns me, I'm sorry, I didn't talk about Pitt. That's what I was supposed to talk about, right? I was supposed to talk about Pitt because it reminds you of when you were a kid at 12 years old in the 90s, right? Okay. All right. Pit Volume 1, Stuntman Comics. There's 12 days left. It's got over 80,000 freaking money in backers, over 622 backers. You know, how much does the damn thing cost? I don't know. A t-shirt costs $32. Each volume costs $45. Oh, gee, isn't that too much money? Yeah, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy this. But hold on a second. Let me cancel that and go to Pitt. I thought I'd gone over it, didn't. But there's your, you get all that classic stuff, right? In a new volume. Woo! Now, here's the thing. I could buy every damn one of these issues for $1 or less out of the freaking back issue bins at my comic shop.
Very true.
So why am I spending $45 on this? And do I need to promote him for that? That's my question to you. Now, I mean, you got to remember how much overprinted this stuff was, back in the day.
Hundreds of thousands of copies.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that it didn't sell to some audience base. It did. But at the same time, most of the retailers were eating 30% or more of what they ordered at the end of the day. And if they ordered, 250 copies, that means they ate 70. So, they got so many copies in the back issue thing 30 years later, they're not going to, I can see why retailers aren't ordering this guy's books and marketing them for their stores. But I don't know. It's a weird situation. If Dale was doing all new Pit content, but reprints, I don't know. Am I being unreasonable for that?
No, not at all.
I don't know. But I mean, there's other things in here that might be interesting. You can get a race car, I guess, toy.
The point of the bottom line of this is Pitt and Dale Keown don't need our support.
Yeah.
They've got their built-in support. They're going to do just fine. And there's other people that would benefit more from being exposed on this channel.
Yeah. I just look at the stuff, it's the same thing with Ethan Van Sciver. Watch more than Ethan. Ethan doesn't need it.
No. Ethan doesn't need us.
So that's what we try to do. And even people like, Rini, Strzelski. Okay, she hooked up with those people, and she's been on their shows. I've emailed her, I don't know, half a dozen times. I've reached out to her on Facebook. I have never heard one word back from her. So, and look at what she's got. Anyway.
And she's doing just fine.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, to me, yeah, I'd like to have her on the show and talk with her and promote her somewhat, but I guess I'm just not, enough. I'm not famous enough. I'm not good enough, whatever, You're laughing, but I mean,
who knows why? I'm sure she's insanely busy as well. So
sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not, it's just kind of weird, when people ask me, why don't you get these people? Well, I've reached out. What do you want me to do? I can't, I can't just make people appear.
Well, yeah. I mean,
say,
we've got.
I got to do it. Say his name and he appears. We don't believe in Joe Hendry.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Is that what we're supposed to do here?
Well, we've reached out to Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth, and we expect them on here as well too. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
That's a joke, guys.
Yeah.
Uh,
it's the same thing. Like if we reached out to you reach out to certain people, you're just not going to get a reply.
yeah. But no. Well, I've had other people, on the show that are, big name people. That's the thing.
Well, yeah.
So I don't understand why. Well, you didn't get who I wanted you to get. It needs to be, an issue here, but it was this last set.
Mhm.
So again, I'm not against Indiegogo. I'm not against anybody on Indiegogo. Obviously, there are people I've supported. There are people who I want to support. So,
we had a fantastic discussion with Kelly Jones and Matt Wagner, and we had 5 people watching.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Okay, so that's your Indiegogo. We'll revisit it later. We'll show you some of the other issues with it, but whatever. I promise you guys another art show. So, before I got sick, I saw something on Heritage Auctions. And I'd never thought in a million years I would be able to get this because of who the artist is. This is an original page.
And who's Raven's favorite artist?
One of my favorite artists.
Yes.
Of John Burns' 2112.
Burn.
Page 4. Sorry about the fan blowing the page everywhere. Love that turnaround.
Yeah, just gorgeous stuff, man. This is
And then looking at the small figures on the bottom and realizing that either he used an incredibly fine tech pen or he was actually using a Crowdfunding to ink. To get
me, that looks like a crow quill.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But when you watch John do sketches on video and stuff, he almost never uses crow quill. It's always using markers and tech pens and shit. So you're like, he did what? But anyway, this is my second page of the book in the collection, and I got it for a very affordable price. I was quite gobsmacked when I won the auction for it.
Yeah, I got a message going, holy shit, I got it.
Yes, you did.
I can't believe I got it.
Well, it's as much as I couldn't believe I got it as I couldn't believe I got it for the price I got it. I'm not going to go into how affordable it was, but it was much less expensive than I expected it to be. It was well in the 3-figure, not high 3-figure either. I was expecting this to be a low to mid 4-figure page because it's burned, because it's quality original characters, but there was only 5 bidders for this page.
It's not X-Men, so
Yeah, it's not X-Men, it's not Superman or Batman or whatever. So I guess, so it's crazy. And it's the same sort of thing. I'm currently tracking another page, which I'm not going to be able to get now, for the obvious reason. But it's look at this. Let me share it. This is from Danger Unlimited, from 30 years ago. Look at the bid on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, it might go up a little bit more come the final day. That's usually when the prices start going boom, boom, boom. This is, it's not for another 4 days at the actual bidding date, but we're talking about $182 and 20, basically for your page and your fee for the auction and getting your shipping and everything. Okay, and there might be a little more for shipping, so you might pay maybe about $230 total for this if it was to go at that price right now. That's nothing for a burn page.
Right.
So it's a little bit crazy. I mean, I'll watch it until the day of the actual thing. I know I'm not going to get it because of what just happened with the medical bills, but if I were healthy, I'd be quitting on this damn thing. If I hadn't had that setback financially. But there you go. And so that's what I got as my reveal for the week. I'm still waiting for other things to come in. Now, I didn't get a chance to talk about what we're going to review or do graphics for what we were going to talk about on Thursday. Do you know what books you're reviewing?
Yeah, I know 3 of them.
Go ahead.
Well, we're doing Metal Hurlant 1 and 2.
Actually, I already covered those on the way I did without you, remember?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But you can still talk about what you think of them. I want you to.
Okay, I will. And then there's the Strange Tales? Which, the other anthology?
I don't know. Well, there's Web of Horror.
That's it.
Okay, Web of Horror. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We got Web of Horror. All right. Then we have The Wraith Vermilion, which is one of my crowdfunding backed books. We have the final issue of Destroying Angel Lumen by Tony McMillan, which came last week. We have Resident Aliens, The Book of Changes #1 from Dark Horse.
Very cool.
And of course, we have Heavy Metal 1 and 2, which I will do on my own. And Crystal will talk about Hurlant, and we'll revisit what I said about Hurlant as well, but we'll get that. And then I don't know if there's additional stuff or not. Let me check real quick on my Facebook page. We're supposed to get this week Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice #3, Blood and Thunder #5, Eerie #3, which means I need to review Eerie #2 if I didn't. I think I already reviewed Eerie #2 last week. So Eerie #3, Fortress #2 from Strangers Publishing, and Jimmy Broxton's Fully Loaded #2. I don't know for sure. Plus, there's supposed to be a free Batman Day 2025, but I don't know if I'm going to get those tomorrow or not. I may have to wait until, I think it's Saturday, it's Batman Day. Friday or Saturday is Batman Day.
Is it? I'm okay. News to me.
Well, I figured that yeah, I can't think of his name. Your guy up there,
Bob.
I figured probably marketing it.
No, I haven't seen anything on Facebook about it. So,
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, let me look at real quick here. Batman Day 2025 is, let's see, it's supposed to be September 20th, 2025.
okay.
So maybe that stuff isn't supposed to come out until next weekend. I don't know. I'll have to find out. But whenever we get that, I guess we'll have. I'm going to review one of those books. So, but that's what we're getting as far as that goes. I don't think I sent you any updates. I'll have to check after the show real quick if there was anything else I was supposed to come out this week. As far as I remember, and I'm going to check with John. Let me check with John. I don't think he's planning on being here this week.
Okay.
I don't see any sign of that. I think he still has another week of training to do, or stuff for the theater.
But then he's going to be taking a vacation. He's going to be taking a break from theater, and I believe he'll be back, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At some point. Yeah, but I don't know. Of course, for those who don't know, John got injured too this past week. There was something that moved off, and the plug for the electric piano or whatever organ he was working on, it got pulled away from the wall, and he went to check it, and it fried his arm. And so he's got these huge burn marks on his arm now.
Mm-hmm. And news sources have yet to confirm whether or not there was actually a man in a cape and a white mask at the scene of the accident.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been 2 hours. It's after that, and I've expended all of my rage, I think.
Despite all our rage, we're still just a rat in a cage.
I just want a piece of cheese. Give me a piece of cheese.
Just give me some cheese, huh? Yeah, I just want some cheese.
Give me the cheese. Give me the cheddar. Anyway, now watch. We'll start getting packets of stuff in the mail that's like
right.
really bad cheese. That'll help you, right? Be our luck, Anyway, that's all for now, folks. We do appreciate you watching. If I haven't pissed y'all off enough to walk away in the first 40 minutes of this episode, I'm glad you stuck around for the good stuff. Of course, maybe you think the fact that I just ripped everybody a new asshole is the good stuff. I don't know, but anyway,
right. Show's gonna go viral. 5,000 views, 10,000 views.
Oh, good Lord, who knows? But anyway, or people will just I want to see what that Raven thing is. It looks like the Punisher. Let me check that out. But anyway, it is what it is, and we'll get back to doing what we do, and that'll be Thursday. So until then, thanks for watching, and if here we go. you want to reach out to me, talk about real comics, if you want to, not sit there and play bullshit games and troll, but actually, have comics that you want us to try and talk about or something like that, reach out to me on social media at Lewis.BrightRaven, on X at LewisBrightRaven2. You can see more of my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You can see more of Chris's coloring at deviantart.com/FatBoy73. You've been watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven, exclusively on YouTube. Questions, comments, other than from the peanut gallery. Quoth the Raven, LBR72 at gmail.com. If I don't get back to you there or here on the channel, try Lewis Bright Raven at yahoo.com. And Chris, do you have any idea what you're doing this Saturday yet?
We do. This Saturday, we are talking with Alex Macris of Autark Games and Publishing. He publishes a bunch of some very nice graphic novels. He publishes role-playing games as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. Okay. And that is at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Glass House, the Glass House YouTube channel, Glass House Throwing Stones.
Yep. Okay. So that's what we'll do. And if you want to reach Chris, also, it's ghthrowingstones@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
All right. So there you go, folks. We'll see you next time. Quoth the Raven, nevermore.
Nevermore.